and it's warm, and you're in the kitchen, and you stare into the knobs of your beautiful stainless steel beauty. I got it. I get the bravado. We can pry your gas stove from your cold, dead hands, or give me my gas stove, or give me death. I have a 6-burner double oven range that sits on legs. I mean, I miss her right now as we're talking about it. And so I think, because it's a two-party system, I think when my colleagues across the aisle, the other party, show leadership, the leadership of our times that is desperately needed, Democrats like myself should commend them. And I want to apologize on behalf of the Democratic Party that we have decided to put kids' safety in their neighborhoods, from getting gunned down in movie theaters or grocery stores or school churches or synagogues. We as Democrats have clearly lost our way, that we are not focused on appliances. And so we're finally seeing our friends across the aisle stand up for parents all across the country as they tuck their kid in at night, as they dress them for school in the morning, as they are worried that they may not come home. My friends across the aisle are telling those parents, you can breathe a sigh of relief, that the grand appliance party is going to make sure your gas stove goes nowhere. You might own a small business, and you are worried about how you're going to pay your employees if we default. The good news for you today is that if you have to shutter your business because the country defaults, your gas stove will still be there. And so, I look forward to the legislation of our time, the Appliance Bill of Rights, that might come in front of this committee.
This is Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz pointing out that, sure, there are problems like the fact that the GOP is holding the entire American economy hostage to force cuts to popular programs like veterans health care, or the fact that kids are being gunned down by AR-15s in schools, or the fact that women are having their bodily autonomy ripped away from them. But don't worry, because Republicans are here to show us what the real issue is.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, your gas stove may be bye-bye.
Joe Biden's climate change agenda now targeting your kitchen.
Biden's coming for your gas stove. A ban on your gas stove.
Ban gas-powered stoves.
The White House is now attempting to ban all gas ovens.
Safety?
And your family dinner is about to get a lot less tasty.
America is not going to stand for this. There's not. A stove like this one could be banned soon.
Nobody's going to tell me I can't cook with gas.
Do you like to cook with gas? Many people do. I do. Flavor of the food if you can do it. It's reportedly considering
Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson writing in part, quote, "I'll never give up my gas stove. If the maniacs in the White House come for my stove, they can pry it from my cold, dead hands."
You want to help me stop this? Go to SaveTheStoves.com. I got a petition up and running that we're going to send to the Biden administration and tell them what nonsense this is and have them stop this stuff.
All right, there's a website up already.
I mean, seriously, every other sentence out of these people's mouths is how their entire way of life is under attack by the woke left, how they're trying to innocently mind their own business but can't because their gas stoves are under attack, and Target is selling children's clothes with rainbows on them. Rainbows! I don't know about you, but I just don't see a way back for this country after this. Remember a couple of years ago when the big fixation all over Fox News and the rest of right-wing media was how Democrats were all snowflakes who wanted safe spaces? Well, how times have changed.
We are so extreme and so far apart that it's come to a place where we need to have a real conversation of, you know what, we all need our own safe space. Do you feel that way? Yeah. From the left and their ideas and their policies we respected them for a long time, but now they're like bullies, and they will not leave us alone, Brian.
But here's the thing. The culture war nonsense and growing extremism on the right, while laughable, isn't just harmless entertainment, it is affecting the rest of us. Here are some recent examples. The Tennessee Republican Speaker of the House just appointed a conspiracy theorist to develop the state's social studies standards for public schools and students. She said 9/11 was an inside job, the 2020 election was stolen from Trump, January 6th insurrectionists were Antifa, and Obama created tornadoes through his actions. Texas Republicans have advanced a new bill to allow uncertified religious chaplains to receive trained counselors in all K-12 public schools, completely destroying the separation of church and state. They also blocked Democratic amendments that would prevent chaplains from proselytizing students and require schools to provide a religious leader of a different faith for students who request one. And Florida Republicans, in their effort to stick it to the federal government and override environmental regulations, just passed a bill to allow roads to be built using a radioactive, cancer-causing material. The material has been banned by the EPA for over 30 years. So while MAGA stupidity might seem silly for the rest of us, the results of that mindset are decisions that are actually poised to do immeasurable harm to everyone. I mean, honestly, look no further than the fact that, judging by Republicans' talking points alone, you would think that drag queens were the leading cause of death among children. Meanwhile, the actual leading cause of death among children is guns, which is an issue that Republicans are not only refusing to solve, they're actually exacerbating. Through their own actions, they are telling every single person in their states and across the country that they don't give a shit about actually living up to the values that they purport to espouse, but they certainly are happy to use children as a cudgel to distract people because all they have to gin up their base are culture wars. So when Republicans try to lecture you, just know that they never actually intended on applying the same standard to themselves. And this is a party that claims to be for family values, only to then turn around and pledge loyalty to a guy who paid out God knows how much hush money for affairs. And this is a party that claims to be for states' rights, only to then sign on to the Texas lawsuit attempting to nullify the election results in other states, all because they weren't happy with the results. This is a party that claims to be for fiscal responsibility, only to then add $7.8 trillion to the national debt when they had unified control of government. This is a party that claims to be pro-police, only to then have voted against state and local funding that would actually aid police departments. And of course, it's a party that claims to be for the military, only to turn around and vote against the PACT Act when it first came up for a vote because they wanted to punish Democrats for introducing the Inflation Reduction Act. Those things weren't actual values, they were what the Republican Party hid behind while attempting to market themselves to voters. But just for posterity, here's what the GOP actually does support. Tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, banning abortion nationwide, eliminating Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, banning books, punishing doctors, preventing people from voting, pretending that climate change doesn't exist, coddling fossil fuel companies, forcing abuse victims to give birth, eliminating any restrictions that might protect people from gun violence, refusing to accept the results of any election where they don't win, forcing America into economic default to blame the other side. This is an agenda that has minority support at best. And of course, they'll never acknowledge that agenda outright because it's too unpopular, and so instead, you are left with culture wars and migrant caravans and pretending that immigrants are coming to steal your jobs, and that trans people are going into the wrong bathroom to assault your kids, and that Bud Light made a can of beer that they don't like, and on and on. It is a tactic as old as it is predictable, but the through line is clear. They're doing whatever they can to deceive you. So if you want a government that actually gives a shit and will fight to advance the causes that actually help Americans, then vote for Democrats. But if your top priority is a non-existent war on gas stoves and little else, then I'll concede that Republicans probably have you covered. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.